Hey everyone, welcome to the Solar Pedal Collective where we rise through shared light. Great to have your energy here or back here if you're returning. Today I kind of just want to go over some stuff that I've been hearing in downloads and then also that have kind of been rattling through my brain. And this is just like theorizing, learning to understand intuition and my intuition and things like that. So, God, where to start? Obviously, when I make these videos, like I don't formulate a plan of what I'm going to talk about. I just let whatever is going to come through me. And so it does make the videos very sporadic, very sometimes hard to follow, but that's consciousness, that's thought. Thought is not linear. Thought is very much sporadic, very much thinking in circles and in curves and in loops, things like that. And there's so much uncertainty in the world and so much fear that it's hard to know what to trust. It's hard to know what to believe. And tarot in particular, and divination, scrying, all the mystical arts are hard for people to wrap their head around because it's like religion. You have to have faith. But that's I don't understand why that's harder for people to grasp than religion. If that makes sense. And I'm not trying to bash organized religion or anything. I'm just saying that like religion, you can talk to somebody who's religious, who is part of an organization for religion, like Christianity, things like that. Christianity, Hinduism, etc. And I'm going to use, or Catholicism, things like that. And I'm going to use Christianity as an example. And this is just an example from my personal experience of talking to somebody who is a Christian and having the conversation with them. You can have a thoughtful conversation about religion and faith without it devolving into, well, your religion is stupid or your faith is stupid, things like that. Like it is detrimental, or it doesn't benefit anybody to just, oh, well, what you believe is stupid. But if everything is mind and the universe is mental, and being able to create with thought, then no, what somebody is thinking is not stupid, ever. Kind of a situation. So I haven't had a conversation, like a faith kind of conversation since my awakening or anything. So I wonder how my perceptions have changed now that I have gone on this journey of awakening. Because it's very much like I would, in the past, I would be that way. I would be not that like what you think is stupid, but it's just I would talk to people that are in organized religion and get to the point where like the scientific part of my brain was, well, where's the proof? How do you know? Like, where's the proof in that? And it would always come back to, well, I mean, you have to have faith. But if if in the realm of Christianity as a religion, if God had a son, Jesus Christ, and he performed miracles, where is the proof? Yes, it's written, but if he was able to perform those things, and Jesus Christ was a person, was a being in this reality that performed those miracles, the likelihood that he does not have a lineage is extremely remote. And the likelihood that the DNA, going all the way back, like if Jesus was conceived through immaculate conception, which means his mom didn't have a male counterpart, which technically at the time of conception she did, because God has no, like, if God is real, or if source is real, then they don't have a gender. Like, and in spirit, your soul, it doesn't have a gender. Like, gender is fluid. So if that occurred, then she did have a male counterpart at the point of conception. It just wasn't conceived normally how it's conceived in this reality. And then, because conception did occur physically, so Jesus was born in this reality, like the physical being, the body was in this reality. So that code, that DNA sequence, that vibration, that resonance would have resonated into this world, and it would have spread, that vibration, that frequency, and it would have became lineage. It would have spread out into this world and into other beings. Like, based on what I've been told and everything, like when people are born, they release a frequency. And that frequency goes out into the world, and it kind of lets the world know that this sequence has been encoded into a body. And when you physically come into this world, when you are outside of your mother's body, it releases that frequency, one, to let the universe know that that sequence of code has been encoded into this body, DNA. And then it's also a frequency that is released that allows consciousness to know, hey, the sequence is ready to go. It needs to be hooked up. It needs to be linked. And honestly, that's why I think you can't really remember the moment you're born. Not because your brain is still developing and memory and all that stuff isn't there, because we are essentially controlling a body with consciousness. That's how we move around. Like, that's what we're doing. So as your brain is growing and developing, you're making that, you're essentially linking up with consciousness. So as you're growing and getting older, from being born to whatever age, because it's different for everyone, like that is you linking up with consciousness. And then when you can start remembering things, that's when you have a link. So, and I think that is a much more realistic way to think of it, instead of like your brain is just developing and everything. And I understand, like, from a scientific, physical point of view, yes, that makes sense. Like there are parts of your brain that help with memory, things like that. But don't think of your brain as storing all your memories. Because quite frankly, yes, there are billions upon billions, like billions, trillions of neural connections in your brain. But the amount of memory and information that you potentially store is it's incomprehensible. And there's only a few things in this reality that are incomprehensible to humans. How much you can store and remember, the size of the universe, and the minute size of atoms. We know atoms exist, but we can't comprehend. We can't comprehend that. And we can't comprehend, like, if you go all the way down to the size of an electron, there is actually potential for life and a reality and a whole universe that is the size of an electron. Just because we haven't seen it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And that leads to a whole different segue, but I'm going to finish this. So, I mean, it's just, those are the things that we can't comprehend. Because to imagine how much that is, how could you imagine that? How? Because you have filters, because you have been filtering reality your entire life. You have nothing to compare it to. Like how much you can remember, you have nothing to compare that to. We have things that store. We have hard drives and solid state drives and things like that. And tape drives, etc. And you can see like a data center, like how much it's storing, and it stores like petabytes, blah blah blah, or like the size of memory storage of the internet and things like that. You can look at that and say, damn, that's a lot. But it is still minutely insignificant to how much you store as memory. Like being able to move your fingers, being able to move all your body parts, being able to recall things, being able to breathe, eat, sleep, etc. Those are all memories, hard encoded. Those are all basic things. And that's what I think your brain stores. Your brain stores the basic functionality. So like breathing, eating, things like that, being able to walk and stuff. And so when your brain gets damaged and you lose those, you have to relearn it. So that's when, like, so you lose that aspect. Your antenna has now been damaged. And not only your antenna, but also the hard drive space that had that information. So now you have to relink up with consciousness. And that's why you have to do physical therapy. That actually makes a lot of sense, if you think about it. And people will be like, no, actually what makes sense is your brain got hurt, and now you have to relearn. Okay, but why isn't the other one just as plausible? Because now that we know, and now that we are seeing that there is essentially like a massive consciousness that we are all linking to, and people are starting to do all that stuff. And with quantum computing, we're also seeing that quantum computers are actually reaching and linking with that consciousness and having information and etc. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy what's going on right now. Excuse me. And so, yeah. So we went from talking about faith and organized religion all the way to about consciousness. So that was a good segue. Long story short, it's just what we do with our life and what we are encoded with, what our purpose is when we are born, is shouted out to the universe. And we link up to our consciousness. That's part of our growing up from infancy, from birth to a certain age. And the entire time we are connected to a consciousness. That is where we are storing the majority of our information that we learn and experience, is up in the cloud. And when our brain gets damaged, which is essentially our antenna to our consciousness, we damage that connection to consciousness and having to relearn it. And it's harder to relearn it when you're older because all the energy and building blocks are being used in those early stages to make that link up with consciousness. And then once you reach a certain age, I feel that, well, not that I feel, but we know scientifically your body starts slowing down in certain areas with those kind of productions. So that's why it's harder when you're older to relearn how to walk and everything, because I feel like your body is doing like a response to a situation, instead of being preemptive and having that stuff readily available, it is responding to being damaged. So it has to slowly ramp up, and it won't ever be like as good as when it first made something. You know what I'm saying? The repair is never as good as the original product. Yeah, it's just there are so many things, and there's also a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of fear and warmongering. There's a lot of warmongering going on, and it's a lot of accusations, a lot of finger pointing at the highest stages in this world. Like politically, countries are pointing fingers at each other, and it's stupid. And then like everything that was coming into me, it's gone. Like there was so much streaming in that I couldn't keep track of it all. Let's see what else. There was something that I wanted to segue into, and I can't remember it. Oh well. And that's also kind of the point of these videos. I'm giving you the raw experience of what I'm receiving and everything. With tarot. There we go. So with things like tarot readings and scrying and intuition and things like that, like I dabble in watching it on like YouTube and stuff, but don't ever take what you're seeing and what you're hearing as law, as like, oh, that's definitely going to happen to me. A lot of people that are in this space of doing like tarot readings or doing intuition, things like that, like love readings, wealth, probably quite a few of them are doing it just to make money. They're doing what the majority of people want to hear, which is they want to hear happy stuff. They want to hear, hey, love is coming your way, or wealth is coming your way soon. It's that false hope premise that people like to hear. That's not what I'm about. I am quite frankly a healer by nature. I very much want to help people. I want to heal energetically, like Reiki. sound bowls, things like that. And I want to help awaken as many people as possible through my energy, through my vibration. I want to help awaken as many people as possible because we are on that consciousness awakening shift. And the more people that awaken, the better. I feel that in the coming months, a lot is going to happen, but that's for a different video. But with tarot and scrying and all the intuition or insight, divination, all that stuff is, I would say, like trying to pick out images that are rapidly flashing on a screen. Like it's just constantly going. And then when you divinate, you pick out a picture. When you scry, you see a picture, like the picture flashes, but it's just going picture, 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 like all different pictures just constantly going, and you pick out one. One picks out here, one picks out there, one picks out there. And you're getting bits and pieces of information. Because when you divine, when you scry, when you do tarot, it's linking to very specific things. Like a tarot card is linked to a picture. So when that, like as you're shuffling the tarot cards, the pictures are also shuffling. So as you're shuffling, finally one card pops out because the card and the picture showed up at the same time, so it pops out. And that's kind of what I'm being told and what I'm being shown. That's how divination works. You're seeing a quick glimpse at something, and then you have to divine what that means. And not everybody's going to divine it right. Everybody's divination, everybody's interpretation of it is going to be different. And that's also the point. The point of a tarot reading is not to listen to the person reading for you and what they're saying. That's not the absolute. You need to take what they're saying and you need to take your own intuition and how you're interpreting the card and kind of merge it together to kind of get a bigger picture of that glimpse. But it's not always going to be like, it's not always going to link up. It's not always going to feel right trying to get all that, but it's whatever you interpret. Your interpretation is going to be for you. Especially if you're not a medium or a psychic or a tarot reader. Because tarot readers, they open themselves up for information for others. Like when they're doing like a collective reading or they're doing a reading for somebody, they have to do it, they do it a different way to get the energy from that person for the reading. Where like if you're doing a reading for yourself, you do it a different way. So if somebody's reading for you, they're trying to use your energy with theirs to divinate a reading for you. So you need to, yes, take what they're saying and keep that in mind, but your interpretation is ultimately going to be what is for you. And since the reader is using their energy as well to divinate, what they interpret in the cards could also be for them. So, and what you interpret from the cards could be for them as well. So it's like having a conversation when you're doing a tarot reading. You're having an energy conversation. So I don't think tarot is well, I know tarot is not 100% accurate, but also tarot is never 100% wrong. There's always something in there for you. But also don't take tarot as as infallible, because when you do a tarot reading, the cards have more than just one connection, like quantumly. Like they are entangled in more ways than one. Let's go with that. They are entangled in more ways than one. So when you're doing tarot, think back to a bunch of pictures flashing on a screen. That's one instance of entanglement. There is a plethora of other entanglements. Because it could be like the flashing pictures are going, the sun is at the right angle, the wind blew just right, your breath happened at the right instance, you blinked. Like, all these different things come together to form one glimpse. Like, so there's more things, like how you moved your hand, how you're shuffling the cards. Like, maybe the hair on your left arm is raised. Maybe you have goosebumps on your leg. Like, there's so many different factors that are coming together for that entanglement, for that card to pop out. So it could be these flashing pictures, but it could be so many number of other things. So that's why you have to interpret the card for you, because there are so many things, there's so many factors coming together to divinate. So if you do get a tarot reading, don't look at it as mystical hockey, buhaki, whatever crap. But also don't look at it as law. It's an experience that you have to interpret to get small glimpses of a larger picture. But you never see the full large picture. It's like bits, tiny little bits. Like if the universe and everything was the grand scheme and it had this giant tapestry that fate is weaving, so to speak. This giant tapestry. And you do a tarot reading. And let's say it's a giant tapestry of all beings in existence, all gods, all planets, everything. And you do a tarot reading, and one of the cards pops out. That is or your full tarot reading. Sorry, let's just do your full tarot reading. A full tarot reading would be like getting a glimpse at a strand of hair on a person in a crowd of quadrillions of beings. Seeing one strand of hair. That's your reading. And this tapestry, think of this tapestry as like if your mind were to try to fathom the size of this tapestry. Think of it as a tapestry the size of a planet, stretched out, like rolled out, going from like spanning across our entire solar system. And that's not even big enough. Like, that's not even big enough. So, and then think that your reading, your divination was a strand of hair on a person's head in a group of quadrillions of beings in a small sector of that tapestry. Like, so think of the grand tapestry, and like your reading went all the way to like this tiny little spot. That's your glimpse. And that's how you have to think of tarot. So, yeah, it's interesting. There's so much more that I want to talk about, and I'm hopefully going to be doing another recording today later. But yeah. So I mean, if any of that information resonates with you, don't hesitate to leave a comment, or if you disagree with me, don't hesitate to leave a comment. It's a conversation. This is all a conversation. And like I said, when I do readings, I've only done one tarot reading, collector tarot reading on here. I don't try to, I'm not doing it for the money. I'm not doing it for fame, for notoriety, things like that. I'm doing it, one, because I am being told this is what I need to do. I'm being compelled. This is my purpose, is to reach out and connect with as many people as possible. And every time that I do a video, I put my energy into the video, which then anybody who watches it, the energy then goes to you and helps, hopefully. That's what I'm being told, and that's that's the image that I keep in my mind's eye, is that energy then flows out while you're watching this video, and it helps awaken you. So hopefully with any of these videos that anybody watches, that the moment you start watching is when the energy is released. So these videos find you when you are ready to awaken. And the information, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a authority on anything that I am, any information that I'm giving. There's information that I could be absolutely wrong with. But I am sharing the information that I'm being told, the messages that are coming to me. That's what I'm sharing with you. What they want me to share with you, I share with you. What they don't want me to share with you, I don't share with you, because, one, not because I think I'll get in trouble, but because, it's not that they don't want me to share it with you. It's it feels like I don't feel compelled to share it. And so much so, when you get a piece of information, it's somebody says, don't share this with anybody. But when they say that, the moment they say that, you're like, ooh, I want to share it with as many people as possible. This is completely different. It's just when I hear, when they give me information and they say, don't share that, it's not I don't feel that feeling. It's just, I don't feel compelled to share it. When they say don't share it, it's just okay, I'll just continue on with what you want me to share. So, but yeah, if any of this resonates with you, go ahead and leave a comment. If it doesn't resonate and you want to argue, go ahead and leave a comment. Just, I only say, please keep it civil, because we're all here to have an experience. So let's have an experience. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. So thank you so very much. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.